I had rather a difficult position to cope with at this time. The two companies were delivering equipment, all of it new and much unpatented, and it was necessary to learn all about it, but without our giving away the secrets of one company to the other. And it was my unfortunate responsibility to see to this.
As the two teams prepared for the final clash, Schoenberg took another brave decision. The Selsdon Committee had set its minimum standards at 240 lines, and Baird planned to transmit on that standard. Schoenberg took a different view.
Great differences of opinion existed in the laboratory, but finally I took my courage in both hands and chose 405 lines. This may seem low now, but then many people thought I had taken a great risk.
The decision to go as high as 405 lines was his, and it was a very bold decision because nobody was really sure at that time whether more than 240 lines could be achieved. But he made that decision, and as you know, it is the standard which still remains for BBC One.
So it came about that on November the 2nd, 1936, the first regular television service in the world went on the air, just 30 years ago.
This is direct television from the studios at the Alexandra Palace. And now you're going to see and hear someone you know well.
A mighty maze of mystic magic rays is all about us in the blue. And in sight and sound they trace living pictures out of space to bring a new wonder to you.
Relations between Baird and EMI were so strained that the only way to settle which should bat first was by tossing a coin. Baird won. In the opening ceremony, Sir Henry Greer, chairman of Baird's, was televised by his company's system. Mr. Alfred Clark, chairman of EMI, was televised by his company's system. And after the speeches, Miss Adele Dixon saluted the new wonder in song.
There's joy in store, the world is at your door. It's here for everyone to view. Conjured up in sound and sight by the magic rays of light that bring television to you.
In the next few weeks, every effort was made to exploit all that the grounds of Alexandra Palace offered. There were golf demonstrations, riding, eurythmics, anything that could take place out of doors. And all the time, Schoenberg was clearly winning. The key difference between the two systems was that EMI made the camera serve the performer. Their cameras were mobile, needed less lighting, and the definition was good. Baird's system made the performer serve the camera. Baird was still using mechanical methods. He had developed a technique known as the intermediate film process. This was, in fact, a film camera which filmed the action in the studio. The film was then developed inside the camera, a process which took 66 seconds, and then the film, still wet, was scanned. The developing tanks used so much water that on occasion the service had to close down until the tanks had filled up again.
The impression that the EMI team always gave was that they were a collection of gifted professionals working like enthusiastic amateurs because they just loved it. Time and trouble meant nothing.
In February 1937, the unequal contest came to an end. The Television Advisory Committee reported that there was
general agreement that the results obtained with the Baird system were distinctly inferior to those obtained with the Marconi-EMI system.
The Baird system was dropped. The superb professionals had won. Even Baird's propagandist, Sidney Mosley, did not and could not question the rightness of the decision. Indeed, he and Baird's other colleagues didn't see the decision as a death blow, arguing that the profits from television would come from the sale of receivers. Even they didn't realize what it meant to Baird to be, in his own words, kicked out by the BBC.
he wasn't bitter. It was just a tremendous disappointment to think that after all the years that he'd devoted to developing television to a high degree of perfection, he then lost out in the race. But he accepted the decision because it was a fair trial, and he then devoted most of his attention to big screen television and colour television.
Baird's contribution has been assessed by the BBC's historian, Professor Asa Briggs, in these words.
Baird publicized television more effectively than any other individual, but eventually, when television established itself, it was not on the lines that he had for so long envisaged.
Baird died in 1946, experimenting throughout the war on colour and stereoscopic television. Today, public houses, streets, memorial tablets perpetuate his name, and it's still used by the biggest television rental company in Britain. Baird obtained the first pictures, he made the going, but the system used throughout the world is not his. It was Campbell Swinton who proposed the theory. Zworykin who pioneered and patented the electronic system. The EMI team, Schoenberg, Blumlein, Brown, McGee, White, Broadway, Cunliffe, and many others, it was they who created television as we know it. It was they who, in a few brief years, from 1931 to 1936, made the modern television system work.